Another beautiful evening in lower downtown Denver. The Rockies getting set to take on the LA Dodgers. And this is the final week of the regular season. The Rockies 10 games over 500 at 83 and 73. The Dodgers 76 up, 81 down. And we take a look at the National League West standings. The Rockies now 5 back. The Giants lead the Padres by a game. Atlanta leading San Diego by a half game in the wild card chase. And then the Rockies 4.5 back. A few moments ago, a fitting tribute to the late Kelly McGregor, the president of the Rockies for the past 9 years, who passed away tragically on April 20th, and forever he will be remembered in this ballpark with his initials, Kelly Scott McGregor, in right field on the wall. And as has been tradition since his passing, his jersey hangs in the Rockies dugout. And you know what? It was a moving moment. Again, for those of us that knew him well, another emotional moment. But it was uplifting also to see.
Well,
that.
It is, and you know, to see the family completely out here. His dad was here, his beautiful bride, and the children were all here as a tribute to all of that. And it's a wonderful tribute, and it's something that needed to be done, and I'm happy to see it there.
Yeah, it is where it should be, right out there, so everybody can see every time they come into 20th and Blake. Well, there's a couple of Rockies that have had special seasons. We talk so much about Carlos Gonzalez and Troy Tulowitzki offensively, but defensively, this pair at their respective positions, and you have to pluralize it with Cargo, as good as it gets, George.
No, I agree with you, Drew. I mean, there's been a lot of great shortstops come around, and all the Jeters and all those guys that are out there. Tulowitzki has proven time and time again he is the guy. And, of course, Carlos playing left, center, and right. You never know what night and where he's going to be, but wherever he is, he makes catches just like those and does it so gracefully. It's so easy that he makes the game easy for him. And it's a joy to set up here every night and have the opportunity to watch both of these guys perform with the leather.
They're worth the price of admission by themselves. Even if you just watch them play defense, they do deserve gold gloves. That is voted on, so you know, by the opposition coaches and managers. You cannot vote for your own guys. So Jim Tracy, as much as he would like to, can't vote for those two. So we talked to a couple of Dodger coaches about those two.
Two great players to build your franchise around, and I think if you're a Rocky fan, you got to say those guys, barring injury, are going to be here for a long time, playing at all-star quality performance every time they go out.
Troy, you know, obviously against us and probably against everyone, it's pretty unbelievable. Really, he kind of makes all the plays. I think everyone notices the arm, but I think I notice goes up the middle, he comes in on the ball, he goes back on the ball, he's thrown us out on a cutoff at home plate. It seems like this year everything's kind of clicked. He's made some great plays against us, a couple of catches against the wall. Haven't got to see him, all that much, so not quite as much as Tulo.
Well, I'll tell you what, you hear it from coaches, you hear it from opposition players all the time. They make jaw-dropping plays, and the players notice.
Well, when you have two guys that you get comments from the Dodger coaching staff that have gold gloves, that appreciated what it's like to win one of those gold gloves, and to hear them put them on that pedestal, it means that much more. You love to hear it come from the peers.
And especially the peers inside the division,
sure,
because the Dodgers and the other 3 teams in the National League West see the Rockies 18 times a year. When we come back, we'll talk about Jeff Francis. He'll have the baseball this evening, taking on L.A. Game 2 of this 3-game set. There's Jeff Francis and George Frazier. For Jeff Francis, an important start, and one Sunday, a very important start.
Well, they're going to be, absolutely. He wants to prove to people he still wants to be around. I think you look at the history of Jeff Francis, 18 starts this year. Would love to have made 33, 34. It didn't happen. So he'd like to go out and do what he can do best, and that is throw strikes.
And give him something to build on going into the offseason. So it's Jeff Francis and the Rockies taking on Hiroki Kuroda and the Dodgers. It's Text the Booth night. Come on back to Coors Field with us. Time to spare by Ford Fusion. It's the 2010 Motor Trend Car of the Year. Ford Fusion, drive one. And by Brakes Plus, a whole lot more. Pretty night at Coors Field. Jeff Francis ready to go. First pitch brought to you by Domino's Pizza. And the first pitch to Rafael Furcal is hit on the ground to Troy Tulowitzki. And Rafael, he knows that is going to end in an out 99% of the time. Hey, text keyword pizza followed by a space in your name to 95323 to receive your Domino's special offer and to be entered to win a pizza party for 12. One weekly winner will be chosen. 89 degrees is the game time temperature. We were just down on the field, George. It doesn't feel that warm.
No, it doesn't. It's a beautiful, beautiful night at Coors Field. A great night to pitch. And I like to see the aggressiveness of the Dodgers. That really plays into the hands of Jeff Francis.
Yeah, this is the third start since coming back for Jeff Francis. You know he'd love to certainly go deeper than he's been able to go the last two. And as we were just touching on a moment ago, they are very, very big starts for Jeff.
Well, you know, for me, and again, I understand the options, the contracts, and all those kind of things. For me, if Jeff Francis is healthy, that answers the questions for me. I mean, if he goes out and shows that, because I visited with Keith Duggar today, and I said, give me the timetable on the labrum surgery. He said, honestly, 24 months for him. For it to be back to 100%, Jeff's at about 18, 19 months right now. So by next spring, he could have a chance of being Jeff Francis again and be that 12 to 15 game winner for you.
This is fouled off. Contractually, Jeff's in a club option year in 2011. His first two starts back, coming off the labrum surgery, he was lights out.
Well, think about the start in spring training against the Chicago Cubs. His last tune-up, 5 innings, 1 hit, just crushed everything. They didn't have a shot at it. And then 2 days later, he can't lift his arm because of the bruise under the arm and swelling. To go on a disabled list. A major setback to him and this ball club.
Yes, it was. Ryan Theriot flies out to Carlos Gonzalez. Andre Ethier batting the 3-hole naturally. Then Matt Kemp. In the 5 spot, it'll be Casey Blake. He had 3 hits and 2 doubles last night. James Loney next. Then Reed Johnson, who really swings the bat well throughout his career against lefties. A.J. Ellis and Hiroki Kuroda. That was not a misprint. He's hitting .019.
1 for 53.
And that one came against the Rockies. Andre Ethier was off to a great start, and then he went down on May 15th. First 33 games of the year, he hit .392 with 11 home runs and 38 driven in 33 games. If there was a May MVP,
he had it won.
He had it won. Since coming back from the DL, 249 average, 12 home runs, and just 41 RBIs in 101 games. So he has driven in about the same number of runs in 101 games as he did in his first 33. That's a base hit. Kemp coming up. Carr goes in left. Dexter Fowler in center. Seth Smith is in right. And the first career start for Chris Nelson. He's at second base. Tulowitzki up the middle. Helton and Moore on the corners. Chris Iannetta again doing the catching. Miguel Olivo was hitting the head by the back of the hand of Tulowitzki 2 days ago. Didn't start last night. He will start tomorrow afternoon and catch Yolis Chassin. In there for a strike on Kemp. This is the 200th straight game for Matt Kemp. It's #1 in all of baseball in terms of playing in consecutive games. 1-1. I was talking to Kemp before the game, and I asked him about Carlos Gonzalez. And Matt won a Gold Glove last year. And he said, I love watching him play. He is tremendous.
Yeah, Kemp this year, 5 errors in the outfield.
And that's a base hit. Ethier will stop at second. Let me correct one thing I said. It's not the first career start for Chris Nelson. It's his second career start. It's his first career start at second. He did have a start against the Red Sox that I forgot about at third base in his first call-up. Back on June 22nd. So 2 outs, back-to-back hits, and here's a guy that's hurt the Rockies since moving from Cleveland, George, a year and a half ago, Casey Blake.
He really has, and in this series he's just gone off with the RBIs and driving in runs. He did it again last night. But against the rest of the league, he has not been as productive. 15 home runs, 62 RBIs for the season.
That's in there for a strike. And Blake in his career is just 1 for 14 against Jeff Francis.
Got a lot of off-speed stuff. He's a dead red fastball hitter. Guy likes the ball up out over the plate and can do some damage with it. He's kind of one of the scary guys.
Jeff pulled the string on him again. It's 0-2. Just missed. 1-2. Bill Hahn's our home plate umpire. Gary Darling is the crew chief. He's over at first base. Bruce Dreckman at second. Paul Emmel at third. Blake with the 3 hits last night. Keep in mind he was 2 for his previous 34 coming into the ball game. 2-2. That's popped up. Helton may have a play. He will, right in front of the dugout. So Francis with 2 outs gives up a couple of singles to Ethier and Kemp. No harm done. brought to you by Office Liquidators and OfficeLiquidators.com. Colorado's largest selection and lowest prices of office furniture. They've been with us for a number of years. We thank them. And this is the final chance this year, because if you text us next Tuesday, Frazier, let me give you George's email address.
Go ahead.
Ready?
I don't have one.
G. Frazier.
Make it up.
And George is going to stay up till, he said he'll do it up till 2 in the morning.
I'll do it later than that.
You'll do it later than that?
I'm going to start about 1:30.
George will be answering your text messages next Tuesday.
I'll be happy to. You bet.
George he's going to be tweeting, and he's
I won't be tweeting,
he's
but
on
I'll
Facebook
answer
also. All right, the Rockies batting order: Dexter Fowler, then Chris Nelson, Carlos Gonzalez. This season against the Dodgers at .346 average with 5 home runs. You saw the rest of the lineup: Tulowitzki, Mora, Hilton, Smith, Ionetta, and Francis. First pitch from Hiroki Kuroda. Misses. Sinker ball specialist. Throws a lot of strikes. And that's on one hop to the second baseman, Ryan Terrio. 1 out.
Yeah, lowest run support in the National League since July 1st. Kuroda's just getting 2.6 runs, so it's kind of a little indication how well maybe he's pitched. With a record of 11-13 and an earned run average at 3.27, he's chalked up 190 innings. Barring an injury, he probably will get above the 200 mark.
Here's Chris Nelson. Is it my imagination, or did he open up his stance a little bit, George?
Well, let's look at it a little bit. Slightly open. Changes he made since he came up, or whatever changes he's made, he's hit over 400. 417 on the season here with the Rockies, and has swung the bat well as a pinch hitter. Of course, his one stolen base, that of home plate to win a ball game.
Yeah, it looks to be a little more open than it was. Then this ball is punched to right center field. Punched pretty good. 2 hops to the warning track, and Nelson is second with a double. In your second career start, that's a very nice way to begin.
You know what I admire about Chris Nelson, and what I really liked, was when he rounded first base, he's halfway to the bag and he's picking up Richie Dower at third. A lot of times players look over their shoulder, make their own decisions to go to third base, and sometimes those aren't the right decisions. But Nelson does this fundamentally sound on a fastball away from him, just went with the pitch. Now as he gets about right here, look at his head turn. He's not looking anywhere where the ball is. He's looking at Richie, and Richie held him up.
Yep, that was textbook, George. Tell you what, it did look like he just kind of punched it out there. Shows you how strong he is. That ball went a long way. Gonzalez takes down low. Cargo supplied the Rockies with their only run last night, a 456-foot home run. His 34th of the year. 3 for 10 with a home run lifetime against Kuroda. He's second in the league in RBIs. He leads the league in hitting. Albert Pujols leading in ribbies right now. There's an RBI out there with 1 out in the first. This was a long flight last night against Ted Lilly.
What was this, 452, wasn't that right?
6.
456, there you go. When it left the bat and it started to carry, I thought, uh-oh, this thing's got a chance to get over everything, including the Wells Fargo sign, and end up on the deck up there. It was a pretty good hot dog. Where did that come from? That's what I thought I was going to get to hear. That ball's crushed.
Yes, it was. Here's the 1-1. On the inside corner for a strike, 1-2.
Now, this is where Kuroda's really handled the opposition. The 3-hole hitter, which is your RBI guys, and that's probably why the earned run average at 327. They've hit a .190 against him.
Well, in the second half, the league's hit .202 against him. But he has not figured out the Rockies in his career.
Yeah, 0-4, 625 earned run average, covering 7 starts.
Look out. Don Mattingly, the future manager of the Dodgers, an old friend, old teammate of yours, was heaping praise on number 5 before the ball game.
That left-handed hitter, a guy that puts the ball in place, got the power, the RBI totals. I'm sure he reminds him a little bit of himself.
That's a pretty good hitter. And a ground ball, base hit. Chris Nelson gets a green light. The Rockies take a 1-0 lead. RBI number 116 for Carlos Gonzalez.
Well, hit him when they're not. That's what you got to do. That's exactly what he does. The ball misplaced by Kuroda on the inside part of the plate. See it on the Southwest Hyundai, on the Southwest cam as it comes to the inner half of the plate. Shot this thing right by James Loney into the outfield. Ethier playing over into left to kind of right center, so he didn't really have an opportunity to make any kind of move on it.
Now to Lewitzki.
Well, the Coors Field magic numbers of putting up runs first always seem to result in a lot of wins. 35-11 when they do it here at Coors Field.
George is 4 for 19 with a home run against Kuroda. 0 for 4 last night. Ted Lilly, 8 strong innings. He beat Ubaldo Jimenez. Jimenez, after a tough first inning, pitched great. He ended up with 7 innings of work. The 2 runs he gave up in the first inning, just 3 hits. Gave up only 1 hit after the first inning, and one of the hits he gave up in the first inning was a pop fly that just landed in no man's land. Was hurt by a couple of walks at the first. He'll have 1 more chance to win 20. That's low. That'll be Saturday for Ubaldo in St. Louis. A quick side note on that series against the Cardinals at Busch. Adam Wainwright has now been officially shut down for the rest of the year. He's got his 20 wins. And a little bit sore, so Tony La Russa has said you're done for 2010.
Well, he'd injured the elbow once before, and that's didn't want to have that
This ball in the air toward left center field. Johnson gets over, and he makes the catch. That'll be out number 2. Here are the Dodgers defensively. Johnson in left, Matt Kemp, Andre Ethier center and right, Casey Blake, Rafael Furcal, Ryan Terrio, James Loney with A.J. Ellis doing the catching. Dodgers go home after the afternoon ball game tomorrow. They'll conclude the season on the weekend against the Diamondbacks. And the big series will be in San Francisco. San Diego and the Giants to determine who wins the NL West.
Well, another big one too, also down in Atlanta, where Philadelphia comes in for 3 to probably determine the wild card.
It'll be interesting, how Philadelphia plays that, George, because they have everything sewn up. They're going to have home field sewn up, so Charlie Manuel's going to play it right, but you also want to align your rotation for the playoffs, because that's now what's most important for Philadelphia in that series.
The advantage probably is the playoffs do not start till Wednesday. So that just means Holiday could at least give you 6 or 7 on Saturday. Still got 3 days rest in between, or 5 or 6 anyway, before they would go down to the bullpen.
Melvin Mora had the night off last night. 1 strike count. And there goes Cargo. And it's fouled off. 2 strike count as we check our first text of the night. This from Josh down at Pueblo. Is there any more scuttlebutt on the Humidor accusations? I think part of this, George, tell me if you agree with this. The Giants trying to get under the skin of the Rockies.
Well, I don't know if it's get under the skin of the Rockies. Maybe draw attention to it. Maybe they feel like at some point that it went on. And, I just find it all amusing, to be honest with you. I really do.
Actually, it makes me angry. You wonder why? Because it makes accusations toward this club's integrity. I don't think that's right. And also, if you think about it, it's virtually impossible to do what they're saying. Balls for the Rockies are this set, and baseballs are changed out. The umpires, they don't hand balls back at the end of a half inning. Ludicrous. with one out in the first. So good start. Jeff Francis out there, second inning of work. And the first batter is James Loney.
This is a guy that's been a model of consistency for this organization. You go all the way back to 08, 161 games, 13 home runs, 90 RBIs. 158, then 156 games played so far. Averaged 90 RBIs. He's sitting at 84 now.
And a slider for a strike. You know, with a guy like Loney, you always want a little bit more. He's a good fielder. He's a very good player. And when I say a little bit more, I think they were hoping you'd eventually get him above the 20 home run mark. But he may not be that guy.
But who cares? I mean, he drives in 90 runs every year. It's pretty consistent every year.
Doesn't strike out a lot.
No. I mean, and he plays every day. You're averaging 159 games a season. You're doing pretty good.
1-2. Loney's 1 for 15 lifetime against Francis. Jeff has really good numbers against several of the Dodgers in the lineup tonight. Several of the big name Dodgers. You mentioned that Blake's got only one career hit against him. James Loney, one career hit against him. The numbers George was talking about.
A model of consistency.
And he's thrown out a few stolen bases this year. Picked off his 10th last night.
He's only made 4 errors all year long at first base.
He's a good fielder. He is a very good fielder.
They found the right guy. I think they got spoiled a little bit when he came up. I mean, what was the one game here at Coors? He had 9 RBIs in the one game, or what was it, 6?
No,
something stupid.
George, you know, it's funny you bring that up. Tonight is the 4th anniversary of that ball game. It was 9 RBIs here. He just was called to the big leagues, and that tied a Dodger record.
Career numbers, and this is against the West, folks. See how he bad hop and everything else.
Nelson handled it. That was a good-looking play.
Great play.
That ball made George a left turn as Chris was coming in. Todd Helton just told him a really nice play as he jogged by.
Well, very impressive, because when he comes in, the ball moves right there on him, and he takes the glove, and it's the exchange before then. Now, I understand Loney's running. He still has decent speed. That's just a great play. The Hyundai cam really shows the exchange and then the perfect toss over to Todd Helton. That was nice.
That really was nice. Play by Nelson. He's got a little defense tonight already to go with the offense. And I know he takes ground balls over there, but he hasn't been in a game, George, at second base in a while.
Well, it's been down AAA. You know, a little bit here at the big leagues, an inning here, inning there, but at AAA is where he got that chance. Maybe he gets a chance to get all the outs.
The ball's hunting him. Let's send it down to Mark Stout for tonight's Great Colorado Payback Sideline Report. Mark?
All right, guys, we invite you to join us tomorrow for the pregame show when George Frazier is going to talk to Don Mattingly, who, of course, will be the next manager of the Dodgers. Everybody knows Donnie Ball game from his career with the Yankees. So good that you may be surprised that he was a 19th round pick of New York back in 1979. Now, the reason why is because he was offered a baseball scholarship at Indiana State. He was from Evansville, Indiana. I asked him today what it took to get him to sign for the Yankees, and he said, they gave me $23,500, which seems like a lot back in 1979. But in reality, he wanted to just play baseball. His dad wanted him to go to college. Now, had he had gone to Indiana State, Bob Warren would have been his manager. He managed 30 years there. He also managed Clint Farmas. And if you look back in the annals of Indiana State, you'll notice that in 1948, their baseball coach was a guy by the name of John Wooden. Yes, that John Wooden, before he went to UCLA, coached baseball and basketball at Indiana State. Pretty cool side note, guys.
How did he do after he left Indiana State?
I think he was pretty successful, if I'm not wrong.
Are you talking about Donnie or Clint or Mr. Wooden?
Mr. Wooden, for starters.
There's a comebacker, and A.J. Ellis is going to be retired, which has not been an easy thing to do for the Rockies. Mark, thanks for that report. That was fascinating. 1-2-3 inning for Jeff Francis. 1-0. today and start saving money on E470. The home schedule concludes tomorrow with the Rockies playing the Dodgers at 1:10 in the afternoon, and then 4 in St. Louis to finish off the 2010 regular season. Todd Helton will step up against Hiroki Kuroda here in the second. Double by Nelson, single by Carlos Gonzalez, netted the Rockies a run in the first. Todd yesterday, a couple of hits, single and a double. And he also walked, so he was on base all 3 times. Todd has struggled against Dodger pitching this year, but in his career, above 280. Of course, he's a lifetime 320-plus hitter, but the Dodgers normally throw some pretty good arms at you. 40 career home runs against LA. Here's the 0-2. Popped up down the right field line. Ethier.
Followed it, tracked it. Fans didn't get in the way. It's up into the seats.
That's it. That guy took it off the chest.
You know, if you set anywhere down in like those 20, well, anywhere, bring a glove with you. You never know.
Tell you what, how about the folks remember when Cargo hit the one in the upper deck?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't expect to get a baseball, did they?
Bring a glove.
That's right. Trying to bust Helton in. It's 2-2.
Doing a little bit of the reverse side of what Ted Lilly did last night from the left side, tonight from the right side, throwing that cutter in on left-handed hitters.
And Helton is gone. 1 out in the second inning. That'll bring up Seth Smith. Time for our Geico quote of the day. George, you heard of Tommy Lasorda?
Is that short, stubby guy who used to manage?
Well, I mean, he used to manage. I'm not going to describe him as such. About the only problem with success is that it does not teach you how to deal with failure. And Smith swings and misses. 0-1.
I've always said fear is a great motivator in the game of baseball. Really, in the game of life. I mean, fear of losing your job, you learn to perform pretty well. And as an athlete, it just gets multiplied because of the short lifespan you have as an athlete.
That's in there also. It's 0-2. Todd Helton, when he came up, or actually when he first signed, went from the University of Tennessee to Asheville, and he was flat tired. And Clint Hurdle always refers to that summer as the summer of 4 to 3, because Helton rolled over to second quite a bit. He was out of gas. Well, the second half for Seth Smith has been the summer of 0-2, because he's had a lot of at-bats where next time you look at the scoreboard, it is no balls and 2 strikes.
It's interesting. I was down at the cage when they were hitting a little earlier today, and I was talking to Don Baylor and a little bit with Renee Latchman. I said, it's funny when hitters get in the box and they're just working their hands, just kind of getting the wrists loose, the arms loose, shoulders, and taking smooth swings. It's some of the prettiest swings you see. It really is, because everything stays so quiet. The head's quiet, the lower half, no leg pickups, nothing. I mean, they just feather the ball wherever they want it to go. And it seems like when a game starts, they increase the bat speed, the leg comes up, shoulders are uneven, head's uneven.
Smith hitting below 200 since the All-Star break. He's gone. And Chris Iannetta up. Another text. What qualifies for winning a Gold Glove at the pitcher spot? Is it the second place winner of the Cy Young or something else? Has nothing at all, Peter, to do with the Cy Young. I mean, you could be 5-20 and win a Gold Glove. It's the same deal as any other spot on the diamond. The coaches and managers will vote for it.
Well, you think about it. I mean, Jim Cott won 16, and then Greg Maddux won all those 8 years in a row that he won as a pitcher. Kind of became automatic.
How about Kuroda? That was quick. He strikes out the side in the second. Rockies have the only run, 1-0 as we go to the third. And George Gwozdecki, an old friend and one of the top college hockey coaches in the business, joins us. Of course, the head coach, as you all know, the DU Pioneers. You just shocked me. I'm going to jump right in. I'm not even going to say hello. I said, how's practice going? You said, well, we don't start till Saturday. And I said, okay. And he goes, we play Saturday night. I said, what? How do you practice Saturday and play Saturday night?
We've got terrific captains who've been training this team for the month of, really, for the last 5 months. And but that's not unusual, to be very honest with you. The official start date is Saturday, October 2nd. We'll have a very quick practice at noon. And then we play Saturday night against the United States National Development Program. We'll have another practice on Sunday at noon, and we'll play against the University of Lethbridge.
Like Allen Iverson always said, George, practice, practice. And you are living proof. You know who needs practice? You can't do that. That's not good for leverage.
I will say this, that it is, you really have to rely on your captains, the guys who've been around for 3 years especially, to put the guys through their paces. Now, our system work won't be great. I mean, obviously, we'll be a little scattered in our own zone, but, we'll be in good shape, and we're looking forward to it.
That's a fair ball. Hang on 1 second. For Kyle, hits one down the line. Hiroki Kuroda is going to get a green light. Carlos Gonzalez had to fetch it out of the corner, and it's a triple and a tie ball game. This is amazing because Hiroki Kuroda was hitting .019. He has 2 hits this year, 2 hits the entire year, and they've both come against the Rockies, wouldn't you know it? Furcal got around and drilled this down the left field line, and it was just inside the bag. So for Rafael Furcal, his 42nd RBI. Boy, that happened fast. And Jeff Francis misses to Reed Johnson. Johnson hit a fly ball to left his first time up. Hiroki Kuroda, George, you could flip him baseballs all afternoon and take all the fielders off the field, and it'd take him a half hour to get a hit, and he has 2 against the Rockies this year.
Yeah, I can't explain that. I'm not I don't even be able to profess to know this game well enough to be able to explain that. But probably not a lot of people can.
You got to practice a lot, though, in this game. So they do 6 weeks of spring training.
Well, our spring training, I'll be very honest, our spring training started in May.
Is that right?
The majority of our team was here this summer, led by our captains, and so they are in very good shape right now, and they're ready to go.
Well, I know the last few years has ended in a disappointing way. First round exit from the NCAAs, and you guys have traditionally been one of the favorites to win it all. Does it come down to goaltending at that time of year? And you've had some great goaltenders the last several years. What has it been? This is a ground ball to third, and Mora throws it away. And I'll tell you what, you know who made that happen for Cobb? Because he baited Mora enough that he made him glance 2 or 3 times, and then he airmailed the throw to try to get Reed Johnson. And now it's 2-1 LA, an error on Melvin. Watch Rafael Furcal. And he knows he can get this far off because he knows it's a foot race to get back. And of course, Moore is trying to keep him there. And then he rushed the throw and he threw it way over Helton's head. So it's 2-1, nobody out. I said Reed Johnson, let me correct that. Ryan Theriot at first. And now Andre Ethier coming up. Go ahead, George.
I think at that point of the season, and especially when you get into the tournament, there's such a huge percentage of teams that advance because of whoever scores the first goal of the game. And,
and then the left wing lock kicks in.
It really does. I mean, for the team that's down, the sense of anxiety starts to mount a little bit. The team that is up by that 1 goal is starting to sit back because they know that the other team's got to score 2 to be able to take the lead. And obviously it sounds simple, but when you're playing in that 1-game elimination tournament, 1 goal, especially that first goal, I mean, it's such a huge percentage of teams that advance who score that first goal of the game, much more so than the regular season. So it certainly is a. I thought, when we played against RIT in that big game that we were eliminated, even though we didn't have a great start to the first period, we played really well. I mean, their goaltender was outstanding, 42 saves. I mean, we really did some very, very good things.
1 ball, 1 strike on Andre Ethier. He singled up the middle his first time. Again, nobody out here in the third. Good speed at first at Theriot. And that pitch misses 2-1. You have to replace 3 All-Americans. It's not the first time you've had to replace All-Americans, though.
Well, it's a much different situation we show up with this. We don't have anybody who's a preseason favorite, preseason go-to guy. We've got some really good players coming back. Kyle Ostro, Jesse Martin, Anthony Maiani, all 3 senior forwards who should be some of the top forwards in the league. Defenseman Matt Donovan, who was on the WCHA all-rookie team last year. Just to name a few of our returning veterans. And obviously Drew Shore, who had a terrific year as a freshman last year, and a very, very good freshman class. This team is going to be deep. This team is going to have to rely, rather than on 1 or 2 guys, going to have to rely on all 4 lines to get the scoring punch in, to be a lot better defensively. Our strength is going to be on our blue line. Chris Nutini, John Riders, big, strong senior defensemen are going to be back. They're going to be leading the way there. And as I said before, a very, very strong, talented freshman class.
3-2 pitch fouled off by Andre Ethier. I mean, you have really done a marvelous job recruiting for a number of years, back-to-back national championships, obviously a few years ago. One of the areas that you've recruited more and more in, I've noticed, is this state. Colorado's turning out more and more players, aren't they?
I spoke with a group the other day and asked them where they thought our primary recruiting ground is.
This is cold fact.
And their response was Canada. And I said, no. Out of our 27 guys on our roster, 4 are from Canada. I said, so 23 are from the United States. What's our #1 state that provides us with players? And they were saying Minnesota, Massachusetts, Michigan. I said, no, it's Colorado. We have 7 players on our roster in the state of Colorado. A lot of it has to do with the success, the immediate success of the Colorado Avalanche when they got to town in '95. But there's no question that we are really pleased with the youth hockey here in this state.
I remember when the Avalanche came, you had Highland Hills facility.
Yes.
Obviously, you had a couple on the southern part of town. Now there's a sheet every other block, it seems like, which is awesome.
Well, when you look at where the National Hockey League has taken their franchises, and wherever they've gone, there's been a grassroots of hockey. The state of California is becoming such a hockey hotbed right now. The amount of not only indoor rinks, but the outdoor roller hockey rinks is really developing some outstanding talent. In fact, arguably our most talented offensive player in our freshman class right now is a young man by the name of Bo Bennett, who grew up in Gardena, California, and he was the #1 pick of the Pittsburgh Penguins in the June draft, in the NHL entry draft this past June, and played in the British Columbia Junior Hockey League last year as a rookie, and was a top rookie in the league and was one of the top scorers in the league. So, yeah, it's California, Colorado.
Runner going, and this ball, hold on, George, tag to right center field. He's going to get on out of here. Matt Kemp has hit a 2-run home run here against Jeff Francis, and now this inning is really getting lopsided. 4 runs for the Dodgers with just 1 out here in the 3rd. For Kemp, his 24th of the year. He just moved ahead of Andre Ethier for the club lead in home runs. This is a strong kid out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma originally. Speaking of multiple sports, he was a great high school basketball player recruited by the University of Oklahoma to play there, and he got all of that to right center off the back wall of the Dodger bullpen. 4-1, strike 1 on Casey Blake.
Bringing me in here hasn't been very good timing.
Well, you know what? If I remember right, in the past, you've had good success. Casey Blake just hit it out. George, we love you, but right now, this is not working out.
I'm out of here. I am out of here.
Wow. Casey Blake has killed the Rockies. 3 for 4 last night. 1 for 2 tonight. That's his 16th home run. We got a changeup. See where this pitch is. It's up and over the middle of the plate. And there are not too many pitchers that can live in the middle of the plate. I don't care how hard you throw. And of course, Jeff's a finesse pitcher. And that thing moved back over the middle of the plate, and Blake made it pay. 4th time they've gone back-to-back this year. 5-1. And James Loney fouls it off. You know where else has become, as Esmil Rogers is forced to get up early. You know where else has become a hotbed? Correct me if I'm wrong in this. Is Dallas. Dallas Fort Worth area is turning out some hockey players.
You are very correct, sir. There's no question. As is Phoenix. As is Oklahoma.
Is that right? Oklahoma?
Home of Matt Donovan, and there's some outstanding young
kids. See, Frazier's going to be excited when you tell him that. I got to let him know that.
Oh, yeah.
So
absolutely.
Matt Donovan's from Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, yep, absolutely. Edmond, Oklahoma.
Huh.
Good friends of Sam Bradford.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good bloodlines there,
yep.
then, huh?
Yep.
I got one for you. I don't know if you ever heard of this guy, and he's gotten in a little trouble lately. He's kind of got involved in a brawl on the baseball field, but he's a very good baseball player. Leadoff man for the Washington Nationals, Niger Morgan. You know that name?
I don't.
He's from L.A.
Okay.
He played major junior hockey in Western Canada, and then decided, a lot of his buddies were playing the NHL. He decided, you know what, my best route's probably baseball, and he made the big leagues.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's the only level of hockey that we cannot recruit at, and that's the major junior leagues in Canada, the Canadian Hockey League.
Yeah.
That's considered professional by the NCAA, but all the other leagues that we recruit very heavily out of the Alberta Junior League, British Columbia Junior League has been very, very good at the university.
And I got to brag on a guy you know, and you probably can't comment because he eventually, potentially could be recruited, but Kyle Houston, Jeff Houston's son, terrific defenseman, big defenseman.
A lot bigger than his dad.
Well, you know what? His dad's pretty tall. His dad's, almost 6'4", and Kyle passed him when he was like 12.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, we're watching. There's a lot of good young talent coming out of the state of Colorado, as we mentioned, and Kyle being, Kyle's playing out in the North American Junior Hockey League this year, and he's on a lot of radar screens.
Yeah, he's a great kid, great student, so I can brag on him. Reed Johnson goes around. George, it is always a blast to see you. I wish you good luck. I don't know about the practice thing, but I know your captains have done a good job. Good luck Saturday night. Get on out to Magnus Arena and check out the Pioneers.
Thanks, Drew. It's going to be a great year. Thank you.
You betcha. Good to see you. George Gwozdecki, the DU Pioneers. Bad hitting for the Rockies. 5-1 Dodgers. Matt Kemp and two-run solo shot from Casey Blake. This date in history is brought to you by Dex One Marketing Solutions. Business results, September 28, 1941. Well, this was a very famous day in baseball. Ted Williams elected to play in a doubleheader. His manager said, you can sit it out, you'll hit 400. He said, no, not above 400. So he proceeded to go 6 for 8 in the twin bill and finished at 406 officially. The last player, as I'm sure all of you know, to hit 400 in the baseball season. Our thanks again to the terrific coaches in the country and certainly in our area. George Gwozdecki, the head coach of the DU Pioneers, will be off and flying again come Saturday night. Get on down to Magnus Arena. Jeff Francis will be gone after 3 innings because this is Mike McHenry pinch hitting in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Just a rough inning for Jeff. You just can't afford to make mistakes in the middle of the plate. You know, when you have electric stuff, George, like Jimenez, when you throw 95 to 100, you can make mistakes in the middle of the plate because it's hard to hit upper 90 stuff with movement.
But not many guys have that upper 90 with movement. That's part of the key. So that's why pitching is so important, and the placement of the ball is so important. You know, and that's why I said in the pregame show, and I said at the start of the show, whether Jeff Francis is in a Rockies uniform or somewhere else, I think Jeff Francis still has the ability to win 12 to 15 games. And the reason I say that, because he'll be 24 months out of labor and surgery, and that is the #1 toughest surgery for a pitcher to come back from, even more so than Tommy John or the rotator cuff.
And McHenry grounds out the second. I'm sure Mike, I'm not sure, but there's a chance Mike may get a start here in the final few days of the regular season. We'll see. 1 out. Dexter Fowler coming up. Let's take a look at our Breaks Plus Take a Break poll of the game. Text your answers to 95323. All right, what's the crew cooked up tonight? Which team's record is more surprising this season? Boston, they're not making the playoffs. The Reds, their magic number's down to 1. Or Texas, they've already won the American League West. Rocks 1 for Boston, Rocks 2 for the Reds, Rocks 3 for the Rangers. How about you, Frazier? How would you
Texas. Vote? I really did. I didn't think they had the pitching early on. I know Clint Hurdle went down there as a hitting instructor. They got big years out of a lot of guys, but they had a lot of guys get hurt too. And I think, you know, once you see all of that happen to them, and they still continue to do it, clinch the West, that I think it's pretty exciting to sit down there and look at the success the Rangers have had.
You know, I'd have coat number one. So I agree with you. I think the Rangers are a great story this year. I mean, I know the Angels have made some changes. This ball is golfed to right field. This will be at least 2 for Dexter Fowler. And guess what? The way he runs, it's going to be an easy 3. That is the 13th triple of the year for Dexter Fowler. It leads the league. What a joy to watch go first to third, George.
Well, it really is. I mean, it's really phenomenal to watch. And in baseball, you hear guys say in the dugout, he dropped the head of the bat on it. That's just what he did. He dropped the head on it, drove it down into that corner, and then Ethier's off to the races trying to get to it as Dexter's off to the races to third base.
That's just a double for virtually every other player in baseball. See, Fowler just moved ahead of Stephen Drew. Chris Nelson doubled in the first inning, came around on a Carlos Gonzalez single. But in addition to the Rangers being a great story, they moved ahead of the Angels in the West. The Cincinnati Reds blowing away St. Louis this year, and especially in September when it counted. I think that's a phenomenal story.
That is. It's a great story for Dusty Baker. But everything got solidified when Ken Griffey Jr. was traded to Seattle. Dunn was shipped to Washington. And they brought in a guy named Scott Rowland to play third base. You talk about taking over a locker room. And he's done just what they wanted done. Walt Jocketty as a general manager and as Dusty Baker as a manager.
One and one on Nelson. Rocky's trying to chip away, and that's fouled off. Rocky's had a 1-0 lead, but the Dodgers put up a 5 spot against Jeff Francis in the 3rd inning. Infield naturally back. The Dodgers with the 4-run lead. So Nelson a little more flex in the knees here. Make sure he gets it in play. And he's going to get an RBI with Fowler at third.
I think he's probably going to get a split. He did.
Now it'll take a 2-out hit from Gonzalez.
Now looking right out of the Hyundai cam, you'll see this come right out of his hands, that split finger. Watch out, this really, right at the last second, heavy bite. It is straight down. You just think you're right on that pitch, and it just disappears. 4 punch-outs after striking out 3 in a row back in the 2nd.
Gargo with a 1-2 count. Singled to the right side of the infield to drive in Nelson in the 1st. And that's in there. Interesting. Kuroda with help, also with Gonzalez. Unlike Lilly, trying to work on the inside corner. Playing with fire if you make a mistake there.
Well, I think you are. You got a chance to see the ball leave the yard pretty good out there. I know that Gonzalez likes to extend. He likes the way. They're headed back in there again.
Fastball at 94. That may surprise some people. Kuroda, when he wants to, can reach back and touch the mid-90s. 35 years old. He's been applying the craft for a long time. 11 years pitching in the Japan League. This is his 3rd year with the Dodgers. This is the final year of his contract. He's been their 2nd most effective pitcher. Here's the Amica hits on. It's funny looking at that on Carlos Gonzalez. Amica, it's not how you're covered, it's how you're treated.
See, that happens with a guy that's got a pretty good split finger, and you got a great hitter at the plate to try to overthrow it. So you overpinch it, you increase your arm speed, you bounce it in the dirt. Good hitters aren't going to swing at that unless it's an 0-2 count.
Did you ever throw it?
Yeah, absolutely I did. Yeah, it's a great pitch to throw.
You got long fingers.
Yeah, long fingers. I got one that's kind of curved in because of that. The index finger. Yeah, it's a very good pitch to throw, right or left-handed, but most right-handers will throw it to left-handed bats as a changeup.
2 balls and a strike, 2 outs. Fowler at third. Pitch was out over the plate. 2-2. Windshield damage? Call Safelite Auto Glass 303-287-5000, online at safelite.com. Maybe goes back to the split. Nope. Fastball at 95. 3-2. Tulowitzki on deck. Some guys splits, tumble. Some almost look like a knuckleball. How did yours come out?
It depends on the grip. I mean, you could do a lot of different things with it. I held mine on the seams and kind of split it over, and that helped to knuckle and tumble both. It all depends upon the grip.
This is going to drop. And Gonzalez drives in Fowler. See, it helps when you're a guy that hits the ball over the wall. Everybody backs up, and that opens up some room in front of the outfielders and beyond the infielders. 5-2. RBI number 117 for Gonzalez.
Now, you take him any way you can get him. You think all those times you maybe were robbed on a line drive in the infield. For Call is playing so far up the middle that he doesn't have an opportunity to get there, and he can run, folks. I think if he's playing normal position, which then he might have had a chance at this. He did not. Drops into the outfield, and Cargo with RBI 117 now.
Tulowitzki had a fly ball to left his first time. Carlos now tied with Albert Pujols for the league lead in RBIs at 117. He's going to get to the bag in front of Cargo. In the inning, there was a one-out triple by Dexter Fowler, and a single by Carlos Gonzalez makes it 5-2. National League player since 1959 to lead the league in average and finish in the top 4 in the other 2 Triple Crown categories, home runs and ribbies. Right now he's hitting .343. That's first in the league. That's updated through his 2 for 2 this afternoon or this evening. 34 home runs, and he's tied for first, as we mentioned, with Pujols with 117 ribbies. Outside the box, brought to you by Jack in the Box. So Esmil Rogers is now aboard pitching here in the 4th inning. Here's Cargo.
And he really needs to put the brakes on. A 27th appearance for him, a high earned run average, 64 innings, 84 hits. The thing is, he's a lot better pitcher than that. And I think the other day what happens, and this happens with a lot of younger guys, Well, they get hit and they get frustrated and they try to throw the ball as hard as they can, but they don't have a purpose behind the pitch. I think that's the biggest thing. They let small things interfere in their minds of their chance to have success.
A.J. Ellis fouls it off. Do you think the Rockies will keep Jay Payton at the big league level after what they have seen from him as of late? Aaron, with a very good question from Colorado Springs. Of course, Jay will be a free agent. He was invited to camp this year by the Rockies. He had a great spring, and then he went on to have a terrific year in Colorado Springs, and he's had a very good September. George, your thoughts?
Well, I don't think, obviously, he's not going to put a uniform on again at the minor league level. That's not going to happen.
Is he out? Whoa. Tulowitzki almost got A.J. Ellis. Bang, bang play at first. That would have been something. It was something just to make it a play at first.
A.J., a couple of times he's been caught on this deal, and it's like, why is me? Why does he always got to catch everything I hit up the middle? That was close. Look at this ball right over the top of the mound. Deflected a little bit off of the glove of Rogers. That helped Tulowitzki get to it. Otherwise, he doesn't do it. On the Hyundai cam, you'll see safe. It's a correct call. Jerry Darling did a good job with this one.
Kuroda looking to bunt.
To finish up on our text question, I think Jay deserves the opportunity to come to spring training and have that chance and be at the front of the line to make the Rockies or another major league team. I commend anybody with 10 years in the big leagues to spend 5 months at the minor league level, hit over 300, the home runs, the RBIs, not be disruptive, be a team guy, and finally get that chance up here. And he's really provided a pretty good little spark here.
You know, similar right now, similar player to Ryan Spilborghs. Jay Payton and Spilborghs, both on the right side, both with some pop. There's a bunt that goes foul. Both play the outfield pretty well.
Well, I think probably the advantage Spilborghs has is his arm strength allows him to play other positions, and Jay's pretty much a left fielder.
Yeah, two Tommy John surgeries early in Jay's career. But you know what, to your point, George, he is, and Jim Tracy has said he's made a statement that he can still play at this level and contribute.
Well, the best part about it is there's about 14 scouts here right now from the Yankees and Cincinnati, Philadelphia, not St. Louis, Tampa, that are watching the Rockies, and they were here watching the Giants, but they're watching the Rockies in case they got into the playoffs and advancing. So there's 14 thoughts that have watched you, 14 scouts that have watched Jay Payton over the weekend. You catch a lot of these guys said, and I'll just point them out. These two guys right there from Philadelphia. Just kind of drop that on him. Jerry Walker back up behind here. Jerry, my pitching coach, 1981. He was former general manager of the Detroit Tigers. Jerry's now works as a right-hand man for Walt Jockett.
And I'll tell you how nice a man Jerry Walker is. He still talks to Frazier.
He stayed in the same hotel with me here. We've had some great breakfasts. Lives in Ada, Oklahoma.
I wanted to tell you something. George Gwozdecki, I know you saw George on his way out.
You know what? There's a guy from Edmond, Oklahoma, pretty good hockey player that plays here now.
How about that? I knew you'd be proud of that.
Well, it still hasn't become a sport, so to speak, for the schools. They have a lot of club hockey there, and a lot of guys have taken it up. Obviously, they have the Ice Oilers there, which is a minor league hockey team. They have the St. Louis Blues, so it's not far away to go watch them. You have the Dallas Ball Club that go watch them. So, I mean, you know, there is people there that go out and spend the time, to go see the hockey.
Here's the 0-2 on for Kyle. And Chris Nelson did a nice job getting the lead runner there. 2 outs. So for Kyle, trades places with Ellis. Yeah, I know this. Last thought on the subject with Jay Payton and our text question. If Jay had his druthers, he'd like to be right here.
Sure he would.
He
had a great
loves Colorado.
season.
He loves the organization.
And you know what? He's not an everyday player anymore, and he doesn't strive to be. He strives to be that 4th or 5th outfielder and be a part of the puzzle to help them win.
Ryan Theriot is officially 0 for 2. He reached on an error by Melvin Mora last inning, and then would come around to score on the Matt Kemp home run. Jeff Francis went 3 innings. He gave up 5 runs, 4 earned, 6 hits, no walks, struck out 1. And that's a base hit to right. Let's take a look at our AT&T trivia question. What's the most innings pitched in a season by a Colorado reliever? And we asked that because Matt Belisle has thrown a lot of innings this year. Joe Baumel's made a bunch of appearances, more than 70. Ethier 1 for 2, single and a fly ball to left field. Strike. Call at second, Theriot at first. 2 hits in the inning. 5-2 LA. Dodgers very deliberate here with Ethier. Here's the 1-2. Slider missed. 2-2.
But I think once you slow the game down to a certain pace, you've got to pick it back up and keep the rhythm of the game in your hands, not the hitter's hands.
Again the breaking ball, and again it missed. Rockies have lost 7 of 8 since looking to move into a first place tie in the National League West 9 days ago.
Well, and they were there. It was there for the picking too. That's there's no question about that. They had their chance.
Ball 4. 3-2 pitch misses. Now they're loaded up for Kemp. Two-run home run in his last at bat. 24 home runs, 79 driven in for Kemp. He's 2 for 2 in the game.
Kemp 7 RBIs with the bases loaded this year, 2 for 8. this opportunity.
Did you say that right? He's 2 for 8.
7 RBIs, pretty good.
He's only had 8 at bats this year with the bases loaded.
That's what the numbers say.
He plays every day, and he's typically been more toward the middle of the lineup. They
4th and 5th all the time.
That speaks volumes about their season, doesn't it? 1 ball, 1 strike on Kemp.
Join the Rockies legends, Dante Bichette, Andre Scalaraga, and a whole lot more at Fantasy Camp, January the 25th through the 29th, 2011. Call today, 303-312-CAMP, or go to ColoradoRockies.com and check and get all the information for Fantasy Camp.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Eric Young Sr. is going to be the commish again. That's fouled off.
Well, I haven't been to one. Been here 13 years, so I'm looking forward to it, to go down and coach it a little bit, hit some ground balls at you. You've always told me what a great player you were and what great hands you had and everything else. We're going to find out.
You're going to find me, aren't you?
I will hunt you down with a fungo. And the truck has just bundled together $10,000. Just have me hit you ground balls.
It's nothing but ground balls. They hit line drive.
Shoot, I quit that a long time ago. Come on, you kidding me?
Tulowitzki has to go the long way. And he'll get his man. In the inning, there were a couple of hits and a walk. The bases left loaded by Rogers. 5-2 LA.
Inning, and Todd Helton is a couple of hits away from 100 this season. I'm up here with the Todd Helton fan club. Of course, they come to virtually every game. And I think as we kind of wind down the home portion of the season, we should show you the names that Todd Helton has passed this year in terms of hits, doubles, and home runs on the all-time list. It is impressive. You see all these names, and probably half of them have plaques in Cooperstown. And I know that Todd, as I said, 2 hits away from 100 this year and 2 hits away from tying Mike Schmidt, another one of those names that's in the Hall of Fame. And Drew and George, one of the questions I get walking around all the time is Todd Helton going to be back next season?
Oh, he's under contract to be back.
He is, and I always say, Todd plays baseball. He's a baseball player. I think he's going to be back.
0-2 count on Melvin Moore. And that's fouled off.
26 ball games in his career. Moore's hit .354. Helton's done a pretty decent job against this club, too. When you start getting mentioned with names, Hall of Fame names, Ricky Henderson, DiMaggio, Ruth, Williams, all-time averages. I mean, it's a pretty special type player you've had a privilege to watch here in Colorado for a long time.
5 runs, 8 hits for the Dodgers, 2 runs, 4 hits for the Rockies. Both runs have been driven in by Carlos Gonzalez. George, why don't you check? Was that a season high for Gonzalez, hits and RBIs in the game? 2 and 2?
No, it is not. Now you're a little short.
Okay. Good pitch by Kuroda. That's his 5th strikeout. You got Mora to chase. Here comes Hill. Well, congratulations to Tampa Bay behind David Price. They shut out the Baltimore Orioles tonight 5-0, and they have clinched a playoff spot.
Yet to run away from the Yankees going into tonight. Tampa Bay held a half a game lead over the Yankees. The Yankees lead it in Toronto 6-1.
Well, pops this one up left side of the diamond for Kyle. 2 outs. Let's answer our trivia question tonight, brought to you as always by AT&T. What's the most innings pitched in a season by a Rockies reliever? Now Belial's thrown a bunch of innings tonight, but Curtis Leshkanek threw 98 innings back in 1995. Bullpen did a great job that year. Leshkanek had good stuff.
He finished the year out closing.
Belial's at 91 1/3, so he's not going to get to 98. You wouldn't think so.
He could, but doubtful.
Smith struck out his first time. Here's the 1-0. Slider on the outside corner for strike, 1-1. That's fouled off out of play. First 3 years in the big league, Smith hit 290. He's dropped off to 250 this year. Rough second half. Too good a swing not to figure it out, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
"17 home runs this year for Smith, hit 15 last year. RBI totals similar. Last year 55, this year 51. Good numbers in his career against Kuroda. Here's the 2-2. On the ground to Loney. Off of Loney to Kuroda for the out. Nice job by James Loney. Hanging with that bullet. 1-2-3 inning for Kuroda. 5-2 as we go to the 5th. business results. By Big Brothers Big Sisters, be big and donate your car. You get a free tow and tax break, and you'll help change a kid's life. And by the fastest growing car dealer in America, Hyundai. Dodgers, by way of a 5-run third, have a 5-2 lead. Casey Blake, a solo home run in that third inning. He's facing Esmil Rogers, and he hits it on the ground fair to Melvin Mora. 1 out. Let's take a look at our Excel Energy fun fact. Well, a guy that was with the Rockies last year, Matt Merton, primarily in Colorado Springs a year ago. He had 250 in 29 ball games when he was up a season ago. He leads Japan's Central League with 208 hits this season. He's hitting .353. It's second in the league, and the Hanshin Tigers are in first place by a half a game. Great story. Good for you, Matt Merton.
Well, and the thing about it, he'd go over there and he can make a lot of money really quick in Japan. I mean, they don't have that 6-year free agency and all that other stuff. You sign for a number to go over there, put up those kind of numbers, you could be in the $2 to $3 million range in a heartbeat. Or you could come back to the United States and play here as a free agent, maybe win a job back here. A lot of guys do that.
I think it's still the case with the American players that go over there. They like the guys who are big, strong, and powerful hit the ball over the wall. You don't see
it's a shorter ball.
Yeah, and you don't see quite as many middle infield types, singles, doubles hitters going over there. Strike 3, James Loney is gone. Second strikeout for Rogers. This is his second inning of work. Too quickly gone, and that'll bring up Reed Johnson. Let's take a look at our Quest high-speed pitch. Kuroda's hit 95. Jeff Francis is hit 90. Brought to you by Quest, the high-speed internet provider of the Colorado Rockies. Esmil Rogers has a very good fastball.
Well, he does.
He rolls out of bed throwing 95.
Well, the thing he's got to learn to do, and this is something that all scouts talk about, Jimmy Wright's talked to him, Bob Apodaca has, he's got to get command of the fastball and work down in the strike zone. I mean, it's great to throw this hard, but you got to be able to command it. You got to be able to work the zone with it. The 2 previous outings, he found out the hard way with that, but he's got electric stuff. The chance to be a really, really good pitcher at the big league level. He's just got to get total control of the game. And it'll fool you, because the game will be really easy 1 or 2 nights. And man, that 3rd or 4th night, you get your tail kicked, and it's how you bounce back from that and correct things to not let it happen again.
One ball, 2 strikes. Time for another text message. Stephen in Fountain, how long of a contract does Cargo have with the Rockies? I hope he'll be with the club for a long time. Everybody hopes he'll be here for a long time. He is not arbitration eligible until after next year. And then you have 3 years that you're arbitration eligible before you can become a full-fledged free agent. So the Rockies control Carlos Gonzalez for the next 4 seasons. 5-2 LA. You never did this? 5-2 Dodgers, bottom of the 5th inning. Who wants tacos? Fans, remember, when the Rockies score 7 or more during any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Feed your fever. Only at Taco Bell. Chris Iannetta struck out his first time against Hiroki Kuroda. Atlanta has defeated the Florida Marlins tonight 3-2. So you know the American League team's going. The Yankees and Tampa in the East. Not official yet for the Yankees. It is official tonight. They beat Toronto 6-1. They remain a half a game out in that battle for the division title. 2-1. Texas won the West, and the Minnesota Twins won the Central. Philadelphia is in. Cincinnati Reds have a magic number of 1. They're getting in. Boy, for Colin Blake, almost hugged each other on the left side. For Kyle, able to still make the throw. 2 outs, or excuse me, 1 out. Rogers will hit for himself. George, what's the difference between split finger fastball and a regular fastball? Is the grip the same? Said Chisney.
No, it's not. There's about 3 grips on a fastball. I don't know if we can zoom in enough to get this, but this is your 2-seam fastball where you put your seams right over the top of those 2 fingers. The 4-seam fastball is where you go across the seams this way with your fastball. So then the ball's coming off easy. Now, what a lot of guys have started to throw lately, you take your index finger and you off-center a little bit in the middle this way and lay your middle finger there, and you throw it. What you get there is a cut fastball. So that's where the ball comes in. And last night we were talking about a little bit of Kuroda tonight, and last night talked an awful lot about Ted Lilly and his cut fastball that he would use. Now, you hear split-fingered fastball, it's a lot less velocity than what a normal fastball is. And there's so many different grips to it. Some guys will just go outside the 2 seams here with their fingers. I was always very comfortable taking the ball and going all the way outside the baseball. So in other words, you've really split. And when the way I properly threw it, Tub Kittle's the guy that taught me, is when I looked out at a catcher and I threw the ball, I wanted the ball to come out in a tumble hard action and tumble down. But my thought was to go right into the catcher's mask and pull right down to his kneecap straight to the ground, to make sure I got out over that baseball and curl those fingers down.
Let me ask you a question, George. Did you throw it with your thumb on the side or your thumb
Well, there's
underneath?
2 ways to do it. A lot of times I'd lay it right on the seam underneath, as you can see here, and sometimes I'd take the thumb completely off. So the only thing that happened would be the 2 fingers. But a lot of times I would do this. If you pull with the index finger, you'll get a sink action this way. If you take and pull with your middle finger, the ball's going to cut here. Now, that's what made Bruce Sutter so good. Let's go back a long time ago. But if we went back to Sutter, who threw it at 84, he would pull with both fingers. And so when he pulled that even axis, that's where he got that big drop straight off the table. We're watching Kuroda tonight, very similar to what he's doing out on the mound. He has that big drop, but he's throwing it with some pretty good velocity because of his arm strength. This is a hard pitch. Kids, I'm going to warn you at home. As a very young kid, you have to have an extremely strong forearm and bicep in order to throw the split finger, because there are so much problems with the arm. This is where you create the flexor tendon and also have the Tommy John, because the elbow's just not strong enough to really put the pressure to get out and really throw this thing properly, and you end up putting a lot of pressure on your finger, and that's when you hurt the elbows, and that's what you want to stay away from. So wait till your arm gets a lot stronger, a little bit older, and then start throwing your split.
2 or 3 best splits of all time. Sutter.
Well, Sutter had probably the best.
Mike Scott.
Mike Scott cheated and cut the ball, but he had a really good split. That was proven later on. He had a really good split finger. Kuroda's got a pretty good split. Of all time, I can't put him in that category to say that, because that was Sutter's out pitch. Like the guy that's got the good slider, or Broxton with a good heater, or, you're talking about Houston Street with a hard slider. I mean, that split, that's what he lived by. But I want to go back on camera real quick. I want to show something real quick. Folks, I got pretty big hands. As you can see, I got big hands. Bruce Sutter's fingers were this much longer than mine. Now think about that. I mean, they were this much longer. I mean, they were like that much longer and he could take him and go all the way around. Another guy that had a pretty good split was Lee Smith, and he threw it as a changeup late in his career.
This ball is right at the second base material.
But he's the only guy right here. He's the only guy. Now, folks, I got big hands, so I'm showing you this. Now, look where I've got my fingers all the way wrapped around middle finger. Lee Smith's the only guy I know that can touch his thumb and his middle finger all the way around the baseball. It's big, man.
5-2 Dodgers on top of the Rockies as we go to the 6th inning. Ellis will lead it off against Esmil Rogers. Third inning of work for Esmil, and he drills A.J. Ellis.
Not quite the way you want to be able to start the inning off, I can tell you that right now. Heater inside, just ran away and caught him right in the back of the bicep. Wear that one for a while.
And here's Kuroda. He went around 1-1. Kuroda's going to go back home, George, in the offseason. Somebody would say, how'd you hit this year? He goes, yeah, I didn't hit really very well, except against the Rockies. The Rockies are a good hitter.
Yeah, had 2 hits against those guys.
Helping to go to Chris Nelson.
11th sacrifice he's had this year, though. That's pretty impressive. Able to do that. All right, well, folks, if you're looking for a unique place, a place to hold a special event, check out Coors Field. 303 Rockies. You can do it on the game day, or you could do it in the off season. Make Coors Field your next spot for a special event. Sam, stop that. Dre has saved you. Sam was going to mess with you.
Sam's got his hands full trying to run that camera up there. Here's for Cobb. Under Joe Torre, who will depart at the end of the week, the Dodgers 33-19 against the Rockies, 16-9 here at Coors Field. Smith makes a catch, 2 outs.
Joe Torre getting that opportunity, I still think he's going to manage somewhere else. I truly believe that. There's going to be probably 5 to 7 managerial jobs open at the end of this season.
Or maybe more than that. You're right. There's at least that many.
But I think Joe's got an opportunity if he wants to go back and manage the Mets, maybe the Chicago Cubs, Seattle Mariners.
I don't think he'll be breaking bread with Jerry Manuel anytime soon, though.
Probably not worried about breaking bread with him either, though. What do you think?
Well,
Ozzie had a few comments with each other, too.
Yeah. Here's Terrio. I do think that Torrey was honestly embarrassed by the way the comments a week ago came out that, you know, he would be curious if the Mets call, because he may be curious, but they're still managed right now by Jerry Manuel. Somebody still has that job.
You know, somebody called Jerry Manuel, you know, obviously to me would probably get fired, should get fired as the manager of the New York Mets. They're 76 and 79, or 17 games out of first. They have not performed well under his watch.
And by the way, it is official now. Cincinnati won 3-2. They are champions of the National League Central. Two and one, Ontario. Jay Bruce hit a walk-off home run in that ball game for Cincinnati.
Tell you what, they've had a difficult time handling this breaking ball in the strike zone. That's up there, but he's had a couple of them that have been. They must either be really nasty or they're getting a pretty good read out of the hand, because they haven't offered at him yet.
Ontario walks. That'll bring up Ethier.
We'll bring out Bob Apodaca for a quick visit, too. It's going to catch it away on the outside part of the plate, but when you've missed so many times with it, you're just not going to get the call made. Here it is on the overhead. They give you a little truer look. See, that's what an umpire's looking at. It's right off that outside corner where the ball was caught.
E39, a single, a fly ball to left, and a walk. Dodgers leading 5-2. Rockies got a run in the first on a Gonzalez single. Nelson a double. In the third inning, after Dexter Fowler triple, Gonzalez singled him in. That's the entire Rockies offense. Ethier was saying something yesterday that I found interesting. And you kind of expect this late in the year. We're talking about Jimenez's stuff, and he said it's still off the charts. He said, but like most guys, it's not quite as sharp this time of year as it is in April and May. He said, but it kind of balances out because most guys' swings are not quite as, the hands aren't quite as quick as they were when you break spring training.
Yep, I would agree.
Whole lot of swings between the Cactus League and late September. Dry swing, swings off the tee. Short toss, batting practice, live game. Where he is against right-handed pitching, he's fourth in the league.
Great night average, too. His day average, not so special.
By the way, Martin Prado hurt his hip tonight. He is done for the year. That's a big blow to Atlanta. I mean, an enormous blow. And it's 3-1. on Ethier. What a contrast. Doesn't like playing under the beautiful sunshine. Wouldn't be a good fit at Wrigley, would it? 2-2. Excuse me. Is it 2-2? I thought that was outside. Never mind. The correct account. It is 2-2. So I went to 3-1. And Ethier's gone on a curveball, and he spikes the bat. Crowd reacting. He's upset with himself. 5-2 LA. And took a right-hand turn off the bat of James Loney. Chris Nelson stabbed it and went underhand. Fast pitch underhand to Todd Helton. Nice play by Chris Nelson. Cross Bruton, Coors Light, Breach Can. And here's Chris to lead things off in the 6th inning against Hiroki Kuroda. Kuroda has retired 7 in a row. He has 3 1-2-3 innings in the first 5, including the 2nd inning where he struck out the side. He has fanned 6. Kuroda trying to win for the 12th time this year. He's second to Clayton Kershaw, who will go tomorrow afternoon in quality starts for the Dodgers this year. Nelson, a double and a run scored in the first, and then struck out swinging in the 3rd with Fowler at 3rd base. Slider for a strike. Rockies 52-27 at home. There's Jim Tracy. Rockies are 1-3 on this homestand. The Rockies have never had a losing homestand since Jim Tracy took over in late May of last year. That streak is in jeopardy. The Rockies need to win tonight and tomorrow afternoon to avoid that. Gonzalez on deck, then Tulowitzki. Again, only 4 hits. A Nelson double, a Fowler triple, and 2 singles, driving in runs by Cargo. Nobody else has reached. Surely hit to Furcal.
That's some interesting numbers I want to bring up real quick on Carlos Gonzalez and Troy Tulowitzki. Gonzalez has 20 home runs, 69 RBIs against the National League West, or more than any player. Think about that. Tulowitzki's 16 home runs and 48 RBIs are second. All that brought to you by Doug Marino.
So here's Cargo. First time he's come up tonight without anybody on base. Got something for you on Gonzalez. Something more. This ball's popped up. It's playable.
Well, this is one of those where everybody's yelling, "I got it," and they just run away like they did.
2 outs. Gonzalez, before that swing, was hitting .441 over his last 41 games at Coors Field. His average close to .420 in the month of September, which is the best in the game. Tulowitzki, a fly ball to left field and a hard ground ball to second. Slider for a strike. One and one. Another text question. Final Tuesday of the year. There's Ubaldo Jimenez. What's going on with Ubaldo? Do you think he's tired or is he pressing? He may be mentally tired. Physically, I mean, he is a bull. And last night, folks, he gave up 2 runs on 3 hits in 7 innings. That's pretty good last time I checked.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Only 1 hit in the next 6. Unfortunately, just came up empty-handed.
You know, normally, let's say the Rockies go out and have a decent game offensively, and they win that game 5-2. The story is, boy, Ubaldo was dominant after a little bit of a rough first inning. Just 3 hits. Struck out 6. That's a pretty good ball game.
That is a very good ball game.
Yeah. That's been a combination in the second half. I mean, he set the bar, George, so high the first 2 months. It wasn't just a great start. It was one of the greatest starts in the history of the game for a starting pitcher. Well, you're not going to sustain that for 6 months.
No. Well, I mean, you know, you sit here and go 15-1. You have the domination that you had, the strikeouts. The earned run average was the best of anybody in the first half. And you know, it's bound to happen. You're bound to hit that skid a little bit where you don't get people out. I think anybody that goes to the All-Star game, the Rockies players.
This ball's hit to left field and deep. Tulo good for a home run. It's going to die short of the wall. The glove of Reed Johnson got out in front of it just a little bit. Another 1-2-3 inning for Kuroda. He's retired 10 in a row. 5-2 LA. Third inning. Rafael Furcal triples in Hiroki Kuroda, who had singled, just his second hit all year, and then Melvin Mora trying to hold Furcal, airmails Ryan Terrio's ground ball, and then Matt Kemp hits one off the back wall of the bullpen. That was followed by a Casey Blake home run against Jeff Francis. 5 runs for the Dodgers, all in that third inning. And then look back, brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address. Jeff went just 3 innings. Rogers now in his 4th inning of work. 1 strike on Kemp. 1-1. This is popped up. down the right field line. I don't think anybody's going to get near it. In fact, it's in the first row. Repair that chip in your windshield by calling Safelite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelite.com. Fouled off again. He's talking to the old teammate, Donnie Baseball, Donnie Mattingly, before the ball game. And I said to him, Philly's best team in the National League? He said, yeah. He said, you know who I think this is the next best team in the National League is? I said, no. He said, the Colorado Rockies. I said, really? He said, you know, it surprised me all year, kept waiting for the Rockies to take off. He said, but I think from a talent standpoint, he felt like the Rockies were right behind the Phillies.
Well, you know, the thing about it with the Rockies, and again, where did you hit your skids? You know, it was what didn't make a pitch here, didn't make a pitch there, the consistency side of things. Maybe swung the bat when you needed to. But he wasn't alone in that same conversation. A lot of people felt like the Rockies were a team that was going to win the National League West and do it convincingly, and get into the World Series.
Two balls, two strikes.
By the way, you know what we're getting before the game tomorrow, fellas? What do you think?
Don't know.
What do you want? Well, what do we normally have? No, we have banana pudding tomorrow coming. Sam's mouth's already watering. Drew's is too.
I have no.
Barb Harbison's going to make us a banana pudding for the last home game.
You going to share with everybody who Barb is?
Well, Barb's a friend of mine, and Tracy Ringosby, that we met at Sam's Diner. Eats there. She has season tickets here. The Avalanche, the Nuggets, the Broncos.
City's number one fan.
Yes, she is.
2-2 on Matt Kemp. Strike three? No, off the plate.
Season ticket holder here with the Rockies since the very first ball game.
You can see that ball is a little bit outside. 3-2. Kemp, man.
Long at bat, huh?
Yeah, it is a long at bat. How about Rogers? He's closing in on 70 pitches since entering the game.
Yeah, he's trying to stretch. I mean, he was stretched out to a 2 to 3 inning guy, and the text on the board here. Do you think Francis and Cook will be back here next year? And Rogers and Shushin have done well. Obviously, the two youngsters have been pretty good. Rogers have had a couple of hiccups here of late. Aaron Cook's under contract, and Jeff has an option. Those are decisions that Dan O'Dowd will have to make. Some of them will be tough, and some will be easy.
That was from Dan in Rock Springs, Wyoming. Dan, thanks for that text message. Good slider to strike out Matt Kemp. One out. That'll bring up Casey Blake, a home run and 3 at bats. Coors Light Cold Hard Blast tonight. Casey Blake with his 16th of the year. Two-strike count on Blake. Dodgers need to win out to avoid their first losing season since 2005. They've had only 3 since 1990. Good pitch by Rogers. Another strikeout, his 5th.
You know, one thing you notice about Rogers, he's had a couple of starts, well, more than a couple, but he's had starts this year to where he give up runs in that first inning, second inning, and then he'd settle in and give you 4 or 5 pretty good innings. Maybe that's where he needs to be, because it seems of late when he comes into a ball game, he struggles early, and then all of a sudden he just starts to get into the flow of the game and just takes it over and does a great job with it. 5 strikeouts, 6 strikeouts now for Rogers in his 4 innings of work.
This ball's hit a long way to right by Loney into the second deck. 3rd home run of the night for LA. 10th home run for Loney. It is 6-2.
58th RBI in his career versus the Rockies. He has tore up the West. Arizona 38, San Diego 29, San Francisco 28. 58 RBIs in his career now against the Colorado Rockies.
I'll tell you how good that is. You look at Loney trot around the bases.
Fastball in, had good velocity, and it had a pretty good location. But watch this front side just step back and get himself clear to where he can get the head of the bat through it and drive it. And he did just that.
There's only one guy since 2006 who's driven in more runs against the Rockies than James Loney. His name, Adrian Gonzalez. Gonzalez has driven in 69 against the Rockies the last 4+ seasons than Loney. And Chris Nelson has this. Reed Johnson retired. Solo home run from Loney. 6-2 LA as we go to the bottom of the 7th. (6-2) LA after the James Loney home run. Well, text keyword taco to 95323 to receive your text message alerts when the Rockies score 7 or more runs for the Rockies taco special, only from Taco Bell. Melvin Mora will lead it off for the Rockies. The Rockies trying to get after Kuroda. That's been easier said than done. He has retired 10 in a row. And not anymore, as that ball got just past Rafael Furcal. That ends that run for Kuroda. See if the Rockies can rally here in the 7th. Todd Helton coming up. Helton a strikeout and a pop to short. Rockies with just 5 hits tonight. The Dodgers 9 hits to produce their 6 runs. They've hit 3 over the wall. Kemp, a 2-run home run. Solo home runs from Blake. And a few moments ago, James Loney outside on Helton. Kuroda with just 91 pitches here in the 7th inning. And that pitch misses 2-0. And that'll get A.J. Ellis to the mound.
Matt Daly, it's been a while since he's been out to the hill, but he's down warming up right now. The last time was on the 10th of September. He allowed a couple of runs in 2/3 of an inning. Belisario, the hard-throwing right-hander, getting up for the Dodgers in their bullpen.
This ball's hit to deep right center field and gone. Todd Helton makes it a one-run game with his 8th of the year. He got all of that one.
And he got a 6-4 ball game all of a sudden. It got out of here in a hurry. What I like this the finish for Todd Helton on this ball when he hit it going up the line. I'm going to get a shot at it for you here in a second. As he just jogged up, he looked at his teammates to say, "I got all this one," and he did. It ricocheted off that wall that separates the bullpens in right center field.
And I tried to eliminate James Loney's home run from my mind, George. It's a 2-run game.
Yep, 6-4 ball game. Just when you felt like you were in a 1-run still, but that home run had given up late. Little fun going on in the dugout. They just like to be on the top side of that fun.
And Seth Smith fouls off that pitch, 1-1. Boy, that was good to see. That felt pretty good for number 17 also. I would imagine that doesn't get old. Todd swinging the bat last couple of days. Single, double, now the 2-run home run. 3 for his last 5 at the plate. 2-1 on Smith. Todd will go downstairs, George, but he'll keep the same spikes on. Right?
Might change everything else.
Yeah, not going to change anything. Just all the equipment just worked out.
Now watch down into the bullpen. Jimmy Wright, Matt Daly was up and throwing. Not saying anything against Matt, but Jim Wright was asked to go to the telephone and answer. Let's see if they make some changes here before the start of this inning.
Two-2, ground ball to second. And Smith is gone. Looks like Kuroda got a piece of the gloves, a piece of the baseball, so it's 1-4-3 if you keep a book at home. First out in the inning, Chris Iannetta coming up. Should point out that obviously Giambi's not available the rest of the year with the bicep strain. Clint Barmas has gone back today to Indiana to be with his dad, who is battling cancer. Stewart is back with the club today. This is pop foul after being at home last night, but he's still pretty weak, battling the flu. Stewie. It's the 1-1 to Iannetta. Pitch number 101. Fooled Chris Iannetta there, 1-2.
He's still showing pretty good velocity, 90-93, and then backing it up with a slider at pretty good location at 81 miles an hour. So he's pitching, basically, folks. What I'm telling you, he's working both sides of the plate. Pretty definite he'll be out. Dotel and Daly now throwing down in the bullpen for the Rockies.
Well, for Todd Helton, George, every time he gets a double, every time he gets a home run, he moves past somebody we've all heard of. He just moved past Bobby Bonds and Moises Alou for 92nd on the all-time home run list with 333.
You know, it's one thing when you're in the top like 500 guys and you're doing this, because there's a lot of people who play this game of baseball. But when you drop into that top 100 list and you get into the top 50 list like he is in doubles, you know, the same thing with the home run deal. I mean, you get the attention of an awful lot of people, what he's accomplished.
3-2. High, good at bat. And now the tying run will come up in the pinch hitter, Jay Payton.
I figured Joe Torre go down to the bullpen. He's going to make a double switch here. If he can get the attention of Bill Hahn. Just over 17,000 players have played the game.
So the Rockies rallying here in the bottom of the 7th with 1 out. 2 already have crossed on the Todd Helton 2-run home run. Iannetta has reached, and Jay Payton will be the pinch hitter when we come back. Home run. And with Iannetta at first, Jay Payton coming up. All right, another text. Do you think the Rockies need to make a big move next year to get another pitcher? Kevin and Thornton. George?
Well, here's the thing about it, guys. If you go out there and think you make this big move for another pitcher, you're going to spend a lot of money. And the Rockies aren't in the mood to spend a lot of money. I mean, they just can't do it. They just can't afford to do it. To get a big-name pitcher to come here, you're going to have to give up 3-4-year contract, and it's going to cost you between $10 and $15 million. They've made that decision to develop and to work it that way. And there's some pieces in the puzzle that need to come to the forefront. Rogers is one of those guys. They do know another guy, one of those guys. Christian Frieder, Greg Reynolds. Guys have to step up and be the guy.
The Rockies have done a really good job developing pitching. They have some guys on their way. And if you're able to re-sign De La Rosa with Chacin and, of course, Jimenez, pretty good 1-2-3. Here's Payton. Belisario probably throws one to the backstop. Iannetta moves to scoring position with 1 out. A wild pitch on Ronald Belisario.
Out of reach, cut fastball, just went all the way to the screen, off the glove of Ellis, not anywhere close to where A.J. was expecting the pitch to be thrown.
And Payton pounds it into the ground, foul.
Payton this year 4 for 8 as a pinch hitter. That's another part of that equation that goes in for everybody to start to figure.
Ground ball right side. And Payton is retired. Iannetta to third, 2 outs, and that'll bring up Dexter Fowler. Dexter a triple in the 3rd inning, also lined out and hit a ground ball to second. So he's 1 for 3.
Don't miss a second of the 2011 season. Place your season ticket deposit today. Call the Rockies at 1-800-388-ROCK or go online to ColoradoRockies.com.
See if Dexter can pull off a little 2-out magic here and bring home Iannetta. Make it a 1-run game. This ball crushed. Deep right center field. Take it. You won't see it for long. We've got a tie game. Dexter Fowler with his 5th long ball of the year. It's 6 apiece. Boy, that got out in a hurry.
And talked about dropping the head of the bat on it. He did it again. This ball away from him. Belisario looked in a little bit of shock on the Hyundai cam. He watched that thing get out of the yard in a hurry. Dexter full tilt, full swing, his 5th and 34th and 35th RBI of the season for Dexter.
Here's Chris Nelson. Blake can't get it out of his glove. He did just get Nelson at first. That puts the inning down, but the Rockies score 4 times, and they dial long distance twice. Helton a 2-run shot, Fowler a 2-run shot. We're even at 6. That was his favorite number, all 3s. And then Dexter Fowler laid into a Belisario fastball to tie it up, a 2-run shot after the walk to Iannetta. So a whole new night, 6-6 as we go to the 8th. And the former Dodger, albeit briefly, Octavio Dotel is aboard.
Exactly, 66th appearance, but just a couple here with the Rockies. 394 in run average, 61 2/3 innings. 48 hits on the season given up in those 61 2/3. Been a closer with a lot of teams. The Rockies picked him up in the middle of the month to see if he had an opportunity to help get them to the playoffs. He's done his part. He'll try to do it here with a tie score in the top of the 8th inning. And they will send up A.J. Ellis and then a pinch hitter. Excuse me, Olgen went in as on the double switch. He will hit in the 9 hole.
So Dotel to face A.J. Ellis here in the top of the 8th. Strike 1. One ball, 1 strike. Inside, 2-1. 35-year-old Octavio Dotel. He's had a long relationship with Bob Apodaca. They were together, George, in New York many moons ago.
Yeah, young kid at that time.
2-2. And Ellis didn't fire at it. It's 3-2. Tell you what, he's done a nice job, A.J. Ellis, with his opportunity here in September.
Well, what he's done, he's probably bought himself the backup job for next year if Martin's ready to go. He's throwing would-be base stealers out. He's called pretty well. He's obviously swung the bat well.
You have to think so. I mean, I don't know what Brad Ausmus is going to do. Brad keeps himself in great shape. Brad's 41. Brad's one of those guys, Brad Ausmus, George, that if he so desires could be a manager one day.
Well, I think so. He's going to have to pay his dues, kind of like the way Ryan Sandberg did. Go back and work at the A-ball, AA, AAA level.
Right field pretty well hit. And Smith will have to field it off the wall. The throw to second a little bit off line. And it's a leadoff double for A.J. Ellis. Let's check in with Mark Stat again. Mark?
Yeah, guys, one more Don Mattingly reference for the night, the skipper to be for the Dodgers. He's from Evansville, Indiana, hometown of Jamie Carroll. So I said to Jamie, do you know about any other managers from Indiana? Because Don's going to be the 11th all time. And right away he says, yes, Gil Hodges. And I said, how do you know that? And he said, well, Gil Hodges is from Petersburg, Indiana, and I've got some family from there. In fact, my grandfather is buried there. And he said, that's the reason why I wear number 14 now for the Dodgers. Gil Hodges was my dad's favorite ball player. I was never able to wear it. He also, of course, played for the Brooklyn and L.A. Dodgers, and that's why Jamie Carroll wears number 14. It was his dad's favorite player. Neat story from that guy from Indiana, guys.
Yeah, you told me that earlier. I didn't realize Gil Hodges was from that part of the world.
The only Indiana manager to win a World Series, of course, with the '69 Mets.
Mark, thank you. Trent Olgin, with his first at bat, takes a strike. And there's a new base runner, Chin Lung Hu, is running for A.J. Ellis. So in this case, folks, who is at second?
I'm not going there.
This is bunted in the air, and Chris Iannetta says thank you very much. He's been up a couple times in the past. In fact, a couple of years ago, he was up for the majority of the year, a good portion of the year with the Dodgers.
Where?
Well, he was.
Never mind. We got to be serious here. They got a runner on second to tie ball.
Call at the plate, swung on and missed. Matt Reynolds now up, getting ready for Andre Ethier if it gets that far. Runner going, throw to third in the dirt. And oh man, Mora took a shot.
Both of them
in the midsection, and both are slow to get up. Chin Lung Hu steals third base. It's his first in the big leagues this year. Who is now on third. And the infield being pulled in here in the top of the 8th inning. Tough out at the plate, Rafael Furcal, 300 hitter.
We kind of anticipated. I did. I thought they might try to do something a little funny, either steal the base, do something, get him in motion, swing the bat after the failure of Olgen to get him sacrificed to third base.
Three and one. And this will get the run home and then some. For Cole, is thinking about three bases and he'll have a triple. Run scoring triple for Rafael Furcal, and it's 7-6 LA. As Dotel is giving up a double and a triple here in the inning.
Second triple of the ball game for Furcal. The 3-1 count, fastball. Jim Tracy can only wonder which button to push down in that bullpen. That fastball was flat, ran up, and it ran away from him. Furcal, a very strong little guy, but he is very strong. He one-hopped that center field wall at 4:15, and it was off to the races for him. He made his own decision when he hit that bag, cut it, and headed to third base. Ooh,
by
wild pitch by Dotel. Need to give them a free run here. They're up one. Looks as if Reynolds is up, and so is Escalona.
One and run on Ryan Theriot. One, two. No play. Hotel did the right thing. Just made sure Furcal stayed near the bag at third. Infield hit for Theriot. First and third. Ethier coming up, and here comes Jim Tracy. He'll bring in Matt Reynolds. One out. Runners on the corners. 7-6 LA. The Rockies got four in the bottom of the inning, looking for a quick top of the eighth to get to the bat rack again, and that has not happened. Giving up a run to LA. So the Dodgers have retaken the lead in the eighth, and now there's runners at first and third. as Andre Ethier will now face Matt Reynolds, who's been terrific since his call-up. Let's check another text. Do you think altitude change from spring training to Coors Field plays a role in the Rockies' poor starts to the season? Tim?
No, I don't. Because sometimes they start out on the road for 7 days.
And you know what? Even though it doesn't seem that way lately, George, there have been years the Rockies have gotten off to good starts. And then it's always been, back a few years ago, as the summer swoon. Remember the Rockies in July didn't play well for a period of time.
20th appearance for Reynolds, 16 strikeouts, 10 hits in 17 innings.
That misses, ball one. Way outside, 2-0. Hits now for the Dodgers. 2-1. That's no Rogers, George. He dealt with a little bit of traffic, but he ends up going 4 innings, giving up just 1 run, that home run to Loney, and gave the Rockies a chance.
Well, that's all you can ask for when you're down 5-0 to hold everything there and try to give you a chance. This fly ball to right is going to get another run in, though. Deep in that. Be careful at first with Terrio. He's going to attempt second, and he's heading back.
Boy, that's a great throw by Seth Smith. Right on the bag on one hop to Tulowitzki. Reed Johnson went halfway, or Terrio went halfway. The Sox are getting me. Every time I see the Sox now on Terrio, I think Reed Johnson. And he had to turn it back. So for Kyle scores the 8th run. It's a 2-run lead. Ethier with his 80th RBI.
Right-handers, you'll see Reynolds throw the split-fingered fastball down and away to the right-handers and try to induce the ground ball or swing and miss. Pretty good velocity on his fastball, up to 92 miles an hour. There it is at 92 for strike one.
Going back to Rogers. Rogers goes 4 innings. He gives up 1 run on 3 hits. He did walk 2. Hit a batter. He struck out 6. On Matt Kemp. Kemp a single in the first, 2-run home run in the third. He's 2 for 4. Rockies in the bottom of the 8th inning will have Gonzalez, Tulowitzki, and Mora. Strikes out Matt Kemp in the inning. There were 2 runs on 3 hits. Both runs charged to Octavio Dotel. The Dodgers lead at 8-6. Institute in Denver, where you can make the world your workplace. Rockies gave up 5 runs in the 3rd inning. Jeff Francis gave up a couple of home runs in that inning. Esmil Rogers pitched well the next 4. The Rockies rallied for 4 in the 7th. 2-run home run from Helton, 2-run home run from Fowler. Carlos Gonzalez has the other 2 RBIs tonight. But now they have to play catch up again. It's 8-6. New catcher's Rod Barajas, as A.J. Ellis was run for last inning. And George Sherrill is on, the former Oriole closer. Tough on lefties.
Yeah, he really hides the ball. You can see he even starts with that extreme close stance, looking at the back of his jersey, and then tries to keep the arm right along the body line, so you never really see the fastball until it pops out. 63rd appearance, very high earned run average, 7.08. He's not had a good year. 62 games, he's only thrown 34 1/3, a left-handed specialist. He's here to get Gonzalez and then say goodbye.
Well, he got Gonzalez at a key moment in that Sunday ball game in L.A. Even though Carlos has more hits against left-handed pitchers than any other player in baseball. And he also has 14 home runs left on left. And you can tell right there with a 2-0 count and Cargo bunting, albeit I know Blake's back, and I know it's a 2-run game, so it's a good play. But that tells me he really struggles to pick up the baseball.
Well, it's very hidden off of Sherrill. That's one thing about it. I mean, he's got his back turned. You can see how much of a turn he has right here, and then when the pitch comes, you just never really see the ball till right at the last second.
He hit that well. Foul, though, down the left field line. All-time home runs for the Rockies against left-handed pitching. 3 guys: Carlos Gonzalez, Larry Walker in 2001, Dante Bichette back in '95. There's Walker along with Gonzalez, hit from the left side. Here's the 2-2. That's a tough pitch to handle, George. He did it, though.
Elevated fastball at 91, up and away from him. He's able to foul it up. I actually think it was probably ball 3. But he likes the ball up and he likes it away, and he'll take that ball to the opposite field to the seats.
And that's the same pitch, that slider that he struck out Cargo on in L.A.
Yeah, great placement of it. Really got on top of it, backed off the velocity, some 20 miles an hour less than the fastball, and just dropped it down. Yeah, Torrey asking if he's already down in the bullpen because he's going to make a switch, go to the right-hander after Sherrill did his job to get the left-hander.
They're going to go to Broxton, and it has not been good of late for Jonathan Broxton, as I'm sure you're aware. They have a pretty good record, but they're not going to the postseason. The Reds winning the Central tonight. The Rangers sewing up the American League West a few nights ago. All three pretty good choices. And I know a lot of people voted, but our computer's locked up, so we'll come back to that.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, here it comes. Here it comes. No, it's not. Yeah, it is.
No, it's kind of like that. It's like that. It's like that hot dog race, the brat race in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Moving very slowly.
Oh, there it is.
The Reds, 39%. A late vote for Texas, 37%.
When it's that close, I think we got to come back.
Keep on voting.
Yeah, keep voting.
95323. Text your vote. Tulowitzki to face Jonathan Broxton. And that's an easy play. It's the hardest pitch we've seen Broxton throw, George. That was 98. That's the Broxton you're kind of used to. Lately, when the Rockies have seen Broxton, it's 93, 94.
Tulowitzki now won. Think about this, folks, what he's done. He's now 1 for 17 against Broxton. Tough right-hander, though, obviously. You see that first half in 38 games, probably the best reliever in all of baseball, and the Dodgers were 32-6. He scuffled in the last 25, and guess what? The Dodgers, when he pitched, 11-14, 3 games under 500. Quite a contrast from being 26 over 500 in those first 38 ball games.
Here's the 0-1 on Mora outside.
Still like this guy's arm. I like the action on his slider. A couple of hiccups somewhere in there. Whether it's the back leg drive or maybe it's a little bit of a failure that has been difficult for this young man to handle. But I'll tell you what, he closed for a lot of teams once that confidence gets regained.
In the air to center field. It'll drop for a base hit. Mora's second hit of the night. And now the tying run coming up in Todd Helton. Last time up, here's what number 17 did.
Yeah, see you later, baseball. That's exactly what happened. Fastball right out over the middle of the plate and off the brick wall that separates the two bullpens in center field. Todd Helton was able to come through with that big 2-run home run. His 8th of the season.
Two outs, Broxton against Helton.
3 for 11 with a home run in their career matchups.
Here's the 1-0 to Todd. Down low, 2-0. This is the thing also about Broxton in the second half. Not only did he have ridiculous stuff, close to 100, sometimes well over 100 miles an hour, but he rarely walked guys. Second half, he's been behind a lot of hitters. -0. 3-0.
I just think he's really uncomfortable facing Todd Helton. That's what I think. I think he'd rather go against Seth Smith, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Smith in his career, though, 0 for 3.
This ball raced to center field on a 3-0 delivery. And now the go-ahead run coming up in Seth Smith.
Well, Joe Torre's had Jansen warming up down in their bullpen. He's going to go get him, too. He's going to make another double switch as he had earlier. This is the young catcher that a while back was the guy that was...
This is how far Jonathan Broxton's dropped.
Yeah, sure has. I mean, the ball's straight. He's getting hit hard. He's falling behind in counts.
So Broxton gets an out and then gives up 2 hits. Smith against the hard-throwing Jansen when we come back. 8. A season of discontent.
Converted catcher that was in 2007 was with Ogden as a catcher, and found out he didn't like the slider. They moved him up to the mound, and he escalated through their minor league system, became a very good strike thrower. 13 walks, 23, but 34 strikeouts. An ERA of 0.76, and he'll match up with Seth Smith right now.
Last year he earned the nickname Mr. Late Night for coming through in these types of situations. Fastball outside at 94. It's a good matchup for Smith, George.
Well, the guy that rides the fastball a little bit up into the zone, about belt high, and it'll fade away. So it's a good pitch. It's a good deal for Smith because a very good fastball hitter.
Two and 0. Moore at second, a single. Helton at first, a single. Three 3-0 on Smith. Chris Iannetta is on deck. Now this is probably, if Smith were to reach where you'd see Jason Giambi, but he is not available for the rest of the year. Ball 4. Bases are loaded for Iannetta. This, without question, is where you'd see the big man, but he strained that bicep tendon a couple of days ago. So Chris Iannetta, 0 for 2 and a walk, with a base hit, can tie up this baseball game. Never a dull moment at the corner of 20th and Blake. straight out of the strike zone since being summoned from the bullpen as Barajas goes out.
Yeah, nobody's been out to talk to him yet to try to calm him down and get him refocused on what he's doing. Iannetta 1 for 3 with the bases loaded this year.
Billboards has come out on deck in the pitcher's spot.
Rick Honeycutt's going to have to jog out and have a quick visit with him because they have no one going in their bullpen. It's his inning to get out of. This is more of a confidence boost to a young guy. They just tell him, you know what, this guy can't hit it. I want you to throw the ball over the middle of the plate. Just go right at him, attack him. Stay with your catcher with Barajas and let's go get him. You know, and that's where a catcher can follow in with exactly what a pitching coach is telling you. And that's basically just like, man, your fastball's great tonight. Let's just get this thing over the plate and get after it.
Ball 3.
The Rockies' most productive pinch hitters sitting in the on-deck circle with 2 outs, and that is Ryan Spilborn.
Firing 3-0, and it's fouled straight back.
Kind of forced the issue. Good fastball. I mean, it's middle half in. Obviously had it from the coach, from the skipper to swing away.
And it's hooked over the Dodger dugout into the seats. Three and 2. Iannetta has a good eye. He does not expand the strike zone frequently.
And he hadn't thrown a strike with his fastball. Don't think that he's going to throw a 3-2 hook or slider. I mean, I couldn't imagine.
Here's the 3-2.
High fastball. Hyundai Cam tried to go at it and tried to check it. Fortunately, he caught enough of it that he did send it up into the seats.
Here comes Mora home. It is 8-7. Iannetta's walk forces in a run. Spilborn's coming up. And make sure you go to Taco Bell tomorrow between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies Tacos special. Good at bat from Chris Iannetta. Back-to-back walks for Kenley Jansen. And Troncoso just got up. Spilborn takes a strike. Ryan having a very good September. 3-13 at home this year.
The best part about it is pinch hitting duties this year. 13 for 32 with 8 RBIs. Slider on the second pitch, the first one there. Hit 406 as a pinch hitter.
2-strike count. Jansen with the hardest pitch he's thrown. Running 97-mile-an-hour fastball strikes out Spilborghs. Rockies leave him loaded. They do get a run. 8-7 as we go to the ninth. LA. Check in with Tom Helmer for details on the exciting postgame report. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Drew. We'll talk in the postgame about down and out. The Cowboys been doing the ciphering. If the Rockies lose tonight, they're eliminated from all aspects of the playoffs because the highest win total they can reach is 88. The Giants are already at 88. San Diego's at 87. They play each other, so one of them is going to pick up at least 2 more wins this season. So the Rockies will be completely eliminated from the postseason. Also, we'll talk about this episode of 24. The center fielder, Dexter Fowler, with a homer and a triple tonight. And, of course, we'll get you down into the clubhouse. It's all coming up right after the ball game. Drew?
Tom, you knew that was one of my favorite shows, right?
24?
Yeah.
You know what? I gotta go get it now. Everybody talks about how great it is, and now I gotta go back and watch it from season 1. I heard it's a great show.
Well, I'm way behind. I've watched now the first couple of seasons, but you got to watch. I'll lend you the tapes, all right? The CDs, whatever they call them.
Yeah, the DVDs now. Yeah,
is that what they call them?
That's what they're calling them now. They'll have the new name in a few years. But yeah, I'd love to test it out.
There you go. Give you a trial run. Today's call to the bullpen brought to you by Xfinity Voice, unlimited local and long distance calling. Call 1-800-XFINITY.
Well, you're going to see Houston Street come on now, and he'll come in to pitch this inning. He's going to face Casey Blake, Loney, and then he'll get Jamie Carroll, who came in on the double switch.
Now, the Rockies may have not been able to get the equalizer, George, in the bottom of the 8th inning, but here's what they did do. They had 7 guys come up, so they flipped the lineup over, which ensures in the 9th inning that at the very least you're going to get Carlos Gonzalez to the plate, and hopefully Tulowitzki as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to look down to their bullpen. I mean, is Cole warming up? Is he doing anything down there right now?
Not right now.
I don't see anybody throwing down there. Maybe he gets loose quick, but 2-0 count right now on the hitter. But I don't see anybody down there. Just Casey Blake swinging the bat up here.
Blake, a home run back in the 3rd inning. Good fastball. Two and two on Blake. Deep left center field, and another home run for Blake. 2-run game again, 9-7. Casey Blake 17th. He was in a big time slump when he arrived in Denver 48 hours ago. He's not anymore.
No, he got out of here pretty quick. A little bit of a smirk on his face saying, man, I like this Denver spot. This is pretty good. Threw 2 fastballs by him up, and then that pitch, the slider, stayed out over the middle of the plate and hung. Belt high at 84. You can see the expression on Don Mattingly, the hitting coach, in their dugout.
Well, against Jeff Francis, he had an off-speed pitch for a home run. Didn't catch up to the 2 fastballs, George.
Here, watch Mattingly. He's going to be right back here, folks. Watch when this thing leaves the bat. I mean, you can see him. He's got the holler working, and it felt it happening for Blake.
4 home runs hit tonight by L.A. 2 by Blake, 1 by Kemp, 1 by the guy at the plate, James Loney. Gonzalez in left.
I seen if the left-handed Cole was going to warm up down there in preparation to come out. Thing is, he's only worked twice back-to-back days. So he hadn't even warmed up down there. He's just kind of watching the game, eating a few sunflower seeds. So Jansen may be the guy to come out and pitch tonight. What happened here?
Street get hurt? I'll show you him in a moment. Earlier today, right before the ball game, the Rockies had a terrific ceremony. Lori McGregor and the entire McGregor family, all 4 kids were here. Mr. McGregor, Kelly's dad, was here, and mom. And a permanent addition to the Coors Field landscape, KSM, Kelly Scott McGregor. His initials, which have been worn on the players' jerseys throughout the year, will be in the right field corner on the wall as long as Coors Field is in operation. And that's as it should be. Now Street is going to throw a pitch or 2 with Keith Duggar looking on and Jim Tracy. Did you see a grimace or anything, George?
I didn't see anything. I mean, I'm not sure what it is, but he doesn't look comfortable standing out there. I mean, doesn't to me. I don't know.
To me, when you start throwing more than 1 or 2, it's not right. And all 3 pitches are the slider. Do you notice that?
Yep. We're going to leave him out there right now. Keith Duggar talking to Jim Tracy coming off the field.
Now, have you ever done that, George, when you strain something and to throw?
I'm not a good guy to ask. I was never on the DL, so I'm a bad guy to ask because I never had. The only time they ever came out there, I got hit.
I mean, if you throw a warm-up pitch or 2, aren't you going to throw your fastball?
Yeah, I just threw 1. Yeah, good. I'm good. Let's go. Because I know it didn't hurt, so why do I need to keep practicing? You know, I just went there. But you're right. I mean, maybe, you know what? Maybe he felt something on the slider.
Jamie Carroll rips one up the middle.
I mean, the only guy that's ready right now and very quick to come in would be Escalona. He was the guy throwing, and then I don't know how much it'd take Matt Daly to get up and get going again.
Well, there's movement down there. A couple guys are jogging, so somebody's trying to get ready quickly. Escalona's putting his cap on. And his glove. And he's wandering toward the mound. So Edgar Escalona's getting up. First at bat for Rod Barajas. A.J. Ellis started the game behind the plate. In the 8th inning, after a double, he was pinch run for by who? Runner going, throw to second is a good throw, but Carroll stole that base on Houston Street.
12th time this year that Jamie Carroll has stolen a base. 1 out, trying to get into scoring position on an 0-1 count. He takes off. Houston ducked late as if he didn't even know Carroll was going. Carroll beat that by a good 8 to 10 feet on the throw.
good pitch. Pretty good slider there to get Barajas.
Big sweep.
2 outs. That'll bring up Trent Olson.
Man, what makes this so good? It just dies. It's big. I mean, it's really big. And Inetta does a nice job blocking it, keeping it out in front of it, keeping everything where it needed to be.
Olson fouls it back. Here's the 0-1. Fouled off, 0-2. Got it. So Houston straight gives up a home run to Casey Blake. Ends the inning with a couple of punch outs. Bottom of the ninth, Rockies trailing 9-7, top of the order. So at the top of the order, it is not Hung Chi Kuo, Kenley Jansen, young kid, converted catcher. He's been very impressive so far. He got the final out in the 8th inning, but that was after walking 2 batters, including walking in a run. Rockies bullpen unable to get a scoreless inning the last 2 as the Dodgers were caught 6-6 by the Rockies after a Fowler 2-run home run in the 7th. That followed a Helton 2-run home run. But then the Dodgers got 2 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th. Here's the 0-1 to Dexter. And that's in there. It's 0-2.
Well, see how he does. I mean, this is the thing about when he came into the game, he wasn't dealing with any traffic. You know, he had it full up. I mean, he was dealing with all kinds of traffic. Now he doesn't have it. So let's see if he can relax into it. And that's typically what happens to a lot of young pitchers. They'll come in and not squeeze the baseball as hard. They'll be able to command their pitches. So as hitters, you've got to fire. Don't look and experience what he did last inning. Think he's going to do the same here. He's going to come at you with fastballs and try to work ahead.
Chris Nelson.
Which I would think Nelson's probably seen Jansen a number of times down at the AAA level. Pitched in Albuquerque this year.
Peter sitting on 95. Two and two.
Before you'd see a hard slider right here on Dexter. And you try to wear him out down underneath his hands. We're starting to see more clubs going to the fastball, either coming in on the hands or trying to do everything he can, stay out of the middle of the plate and down, because that's where he's hurt the Dodgers in this game tonight. And I think that's where they're trying to stay out of it. Before he dropped his hands, it was sliders galore to him. Last pitch fastball at 96.
Center field, and it'll drop. Base hit.
Have a night, Dexter Fowler.
Single, triple, two-run home run for Fowler. And the tying run coming up with Nelson.
And watch the pitch again, see where it is and where it's located, right to the center cut of the plate. And Dexter didn't try to pull it, he just tried to hit the ball right back up the middle, and it paid huge dividends. A leadoff single. Down 2 runs now with Chris Nelson at the plate.
On the outside corner, a strike on Nelson. Double in the first inning for Nelson. And that was followed by a Carlos Gonzalez single. The Rockies led 1-0 early. 1 for 4 in his second career start. First start at second base. The other start came in June at third. In the dirt, Barajas blocks it. Rockies trying to finish strong. One more win and they'll have their third best record in history. Sitting on 83 W's. One and two. Jim Tracy saying before the ball game, he's been impressed in spring training with Chris Nelson's work habits. So it looks like he has a newfound love affair with the game. Went out and had one of his best seasons in pro ball this year, AAA Colorado Springs.
It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for him to go out and play too. With EY's leg bothering him, and more than likely not going to be back out there again, he's going to get some starts. See what you can do. See if you can handle the second base. Just put another thought into their mind for the offseason and the start of spring training.
Yeah, we should mention that again. Eric Young, because he's really sore where he had that stress fracture. He's been trying to play through it with the Rockies' playoff hopes basically gone. Eric Young will not play again this year.
And I asked him before the game today. He said, well, the fracture's still there. I came back too quick. I mean, I was just trying to help the ball club win any way that he could. Force the issue to get going again.
Fowler at first. And this is popped up in the infield. Jamie Carroll, 1 out. And here comes Carlos Gonzalez. 2 for 4 tonight. 2 runs batted in. Automatic standing ovation whenever he comes to the plate. Leading the National League in batting average, tied with Albert Pujols for the National League lead in RBIs. And seems more like when as opposed to if he wins the National League batting title. He'll become the 5th Rocky to win a batting title in the club's 18 years of existence. Last being Matt Holliday in 2007. Larry Walker won 3 titles. Todd Helton, Andres Galarraga as well.
Dante Bichette.
1-0 on Cargo. 2-0. Tulowitzki on deck. Helton's batting title in 2000. Walker won 98, 99, and 01. Two and one. You know what? Bichette never won a batting title, George.
No, I thought he did.
No. No, just Galarraga, Walker, Helton, and Holliday. And it's popped up. Playable for Blake. 2 outs. Here comes Tulowitzki.
Tell you what, he rides one of these high fastballs in on Tulowitzki, you're going to have a tie ball game.
By the way, the Giants in Arizona tied at 2 in the 7th in San Francisco, and the Cubs, who won 1-0 last night, they're leading Matt Latos and the Padres 4-2 in San Diego in the 6th inning. Two outs. Tulowitzki represents the tying run. Fowler singled, he's at first. He'll take second here as Loney is dropped behind him. Not a stolen base.
Tulowitzki just missed a home run early in the ball game on a ball on the inner half down the left field line, about 8 feet short of the wall.
We got a pitch to hit there. 1-1.
Gut shot fastball right down the middle of the plate. A little bit lower than what he normally likes it, but he got one he could drive. He got up about 5 or 6 inches.
That's a strike. Fowler, a leadoff single. Here's the 1-2. 2-2.
Well, that entire coaching staff, all-stars, Tim Wallach, Don Mattingly, Rick Honeycutt, Bob Schaefer, longtime manager in the minor leagues, a couple of times in the big leagues.
2-2. Swung on and missed. And Tulowitzki summarizes another frustrating evening for the Rockies at Coors Field. 1-4 on this final homestand. They fall to the Dodgers 9-7. Kenley Jansen gets the final 4 outs. Belisario ends up with the victory. Jansen, his third save. Dotel takes the loss. And the Rockies fall to 83 and 74. The Dodgers now 77 and 81. Tonight's delivery of the game is brought to you by Jimmy John's. Casey Blake. Rockies struggled getting him out last night. They struggled getting him out tonight. He had a pair of home runs. And every time the Rockies would get close, the Dodgers would add on. 4 home runs in all for the Dodgers tonight. Also Matt Kemp and James Loney going deep. So the Dodgers win it 9-7 after winning 3-1 yesterday. Stick around. The postgame report is up next.